Welcome, everybody. I'm Sven Hosford, back again with another edition of the Journal of Lifestyle Medicine. So it's been almost 3 years, or over 3 years actually, since the last time I posted anything. I thought it'd be a good time to put up a video that says, hey, I'm still alive. And that's largely thanks to some work of some pretty amazing people, which we're going to get into right here. We're starting a new playlist on YouTube. And this one is called "We're High on Anyana Kai."
I love it.
This is this is a place for all of the people who've been touched by Charmaine, and all of the people there at Anyana Kai can say their piece. There are probably thousands of people. How many people do you think you've treated in the years?
Oh my God. Well, we don't really treat anybody. What we do is we train people how to handle their own toxic burden.
Right. That's why I keep
we take off that hat. You know, I took off my doctor hat, just like you call me Charmaine. Everybody calls me Charmaine. Because what we do is we teach you, we teach you that you are the driver of your own ship, but we have a huge toolbox. We show you how to plug in the tools and use them. And then the rest is between you and God, or the divine, or whatever, you know.
You do a pretty good job of that, because 3 years ago, I had a heart attack due to mold. I walked out of a emergency room because the 30-year-old doctor could not believe that mold causes heart attacks. All of that is detailed in the first, or one of the first videos that we have up on our YouTube channel, and that's how to get mold out of your body. That was actually recorded a week after I had this heart attack. Well, I've been putting all those practices to pretty good use over the last 3 years. I got involved in the cannabis industry. We could talk about that. There's a whole nother side to what I'm doing now professionally. But I think it's, I just spent another 3 days in Anyana Kai this last weekend. And well, it was so great to see everybody and reconnect and see that the same kind of wild craziness is still going on there. Tell us how you operate, Charmaine. What's the basic premise of Anyana Kai, and what do you do there?
Well, even on our sign out front, we are affectionately called the Detox Depot. And what most people need to understand is by the time they leave their house, the average female uses over 250 deadly known cancer-causing and disease-causing toxins. And these accumulate in the body. And they don't leave the body or detox out of the body by normal means. So we decided to show people and teach people how to get these toxins out of the body. I mean, another thing is, look at how overweight the population is becoming. And what most people don't realize is there's only 2% of the population that's overweight from overeating. Everybody else is overweight because they're overtoxic. So the way we like to explain to people is that if you can control the air that you live and work in and breathe, and you can control everything you put on your person and everything you put in your person, there's only a 5% chance that toxic burden is going to lead to a diseased state, and that diseased state will take you down and out. On the opposite side of that coin, if you don't control the air that you live and work in and breathe, and you don't control everything that you put on your person and in your person, then there's a 100% chance that you're going to end up in a diseased state. And because these are accumulative and are passed on from mother to child, and let me see, the toxic burden has become very prevalent on the planet for the last 5 generations, then we can see that it gets more and more difficult with each successive generation to eliminate these toxins. I mean, never before in history have we been so bombarded with the toxic burden. I'm going to state a 2004 study which showed 287 toxins were found in umbilical cords of babies who were tested for them. We live in a toxic planet with approximately 500,000 new and potentially toxic industrial chemicals that have become part of our environment. Less than 7% which have been tested for their effect on us. So about 84,000 chemicals, industrial chemicals that are used as household items. 200 of them have been tested by the FDA. Only 5 have been regulated by the FDA. And the last time the federal chemical safety law was updated was 1976. 25% of all drugs approved by the FDA are recalled within 5 years of approval, 1 out of 5 for harming or killing patients. And 1 shopping cart full of fruits and vegetables can contain up to 60 to 80 different pesticides, which means if you're not eating organic vegetables and fruits, within a year, you will have consumed 4 liters of these toxic laden chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, just from the food alone. I could go on and on, but I think you get an idea of what we're dealing with here. It's unbelievable.
It really is. It really is unbelievable. And, you point out a few very important facts. When we look at the rise of all the strange diseases and autoimmune diseases and wonder why that's happening, and that's going hand in hand with this increase in the number of toxins in our environment. And not just toxins on a chemical nature, but, electronic stimulation, overstimulation.
That's one of the worst. And that's one of the hardest to get away from, really.
Our whole nervous system is absolutely overloaded now.
Bombarded.
All it takes is a little daily meditation practice to see what a difference even 5 minutes of silence can do to your nervous system.
One of my favorite ways to handle that burden is to ground out while I sleep. We're big promoters of the earthing group, so that you have a sheet or a pad that you put on your bed, and then you ground it out to outside or to your socket. And so at least for the 4 to 8 or whatever, how many ever hours you're in bed, you're grounding and downloading a lot of that excess of damaging electromagnetic energy out of the body. Because yes, we are so heavily bombarded. Every place we turn around, we're being hit.
So the two most important things that you provide there at Anyana Kai are really education, just the last 5 minutes of what you've been talking about, that kind of an education, and really the real wide open third dimensional view of what's going on in our environment. But then you also provide some rather unusual, some might call them unorthodox kinds of treatments. Nothing I found in the least bit dangerous other than cold water, which, although it did make me scream like a little girl, I have to admit.
Yeah, they came running from next door wondering what was going on. But here's the thing is everything, all those technologies that you've mentioned actually mimic nature. And they're, therapies that have been used traditionally and historically on the planet for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So they're not new therapies. I mean, we may have updated them some, using technology to bring the sun and the beach to you, like the far infrared sauna. Far infrared is a frequency scale somewhere between 0 and 1,000 microns, but we like to narrow it down to that 7 to 14 range. And that's where you get wonderful things happening. Toxins tend to stick together in these big clumps. And what we need to do is we need to go in there with the far infrared and break them down and vibrate them and shake them so that they're in a small enough micron that they can actually be eliminated through the skin, taking the stress off the internal organs. But it truly is the same therapy. That's why people love to go hang out in the tropics and subtropics a day at the beach on the sand with the sun. You're getting far infrared. That's what it is.
And there are certain toxins in the body that only come out through the sweat glands. Isn't that right?
Well, I mean, the sweat glands, the skin, is your largest organ in your body for elimination and absorption of toxins. And it is basically, it's one of the biggest parts of the lymphatic system. And what was the tag that you came up with the first time you were here? What was it?
Lymph free or die.
Yes, lymph free or die, because that really, there's two main premises that we base everything on. We're trying to get the lymphatic system up and running at a higher level so that we can deliver nutrients in and get toxins out of the body. But our biggest nutrient that we're trying to get into all the cells is oxygen. So that's what a day at Anyana Kai is about. But we also want to take a look at, do you get into a deep sleep? Because if you don't get into a deep delta sleep, then your body can't eliminate toxins and it can't regenerate. Do you have scar tissue? Because scar tissue can throw off the body's, a half an inch can throw off the body's entire electrical system. So those other things that we're going to take a look at. The biggest thing is, the lymphatic system super oxygenated and getting it pumping at a really, really high level. So everything there is designed to accomplish and meet that goal. Of course, we also like to take a look at the brain, because if you can give the brain a tune up, then the rest of the body follows. I mean, so that's a really quick overview of, some of the things that we're trying to accomplish at Anyana Kai.
Sure. Well, the most important thing, it sounds like, recently, and the thing that's in the news the most now, is the crackdown on kratom, which is safe and is used by a lot of people very effectively to wean off very dangerous narcotics. Now, the FDA
spend not just narcotics, because remember how many people actually get harmed every year from the over-the-counter NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. That's really something people don't even think about, and it's a big problem too.
So it's used for pain management as well as to wean out opiates. Well, the FDA, in their infinite wisdom, has tried to tie 44 deaths to kratom. Now, that's 44 ever that they could find ever in all the use of kratom across America. The Huffington Post took a look at their data and said, as a whole, the data suggests the FDA is basing its warnings about kratom's fatal harms on a patchwork of loosely sourced anecdotal reports that say very little about how the drug is responsible for the deaths or even whether it is at all. So they find kratom in the bloodstream of somebody who's got 9 other drugs that they probably overdosed from, and suddenly kratom is, the culprit. So it's sort of an uphill fight, but sort of a downhill fight because there's so many people using this. Isn't that correct?
Well, I mean, it's part of the coffee family, but it's not a stimulant. I mean, as far as efficacy goes, it's bar none. There's nothing that has a better success rate. There's no addiction to it. There's no, psychological effect that happens with it. It's non-addictive. There's no withdrawal when you come off of it. And I've seen people literally come in. This was just this past week. A gentleman came in and he was on heroin for 15 years. And literally within 4 hours, he's like, this is criminal, but I feel great. So he didn't have any of the withdrawal symptoms. So that was really wonderful to see. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it's not just for coming off of opiates or heroin. It's for managing pain, which is epidemic. And because if you can't get your body out of pain and you can't get it into a parasympathetic state, it cannot heal. So besides getting into that deep sleep, we need to make sure that you're out of pain or no healing can occur whatsoever. I've never seen an herb that's this safe, this effective, that doesn't. In fact, I had an attorney that's also does a lot of research in the health sciences. And he said that he could not find any evidence and note that anybody's ever died or been harmed from kratom. And here in the state of Ohio, they're trying to sneak in the back door right now. We have till Thursday to get enough petitioners in that they're trying to make it a, what's that one? Schedule 1.
Schedule 1.
Yeah. So what Schedule 1 means is that there's no research backing up its medical use, yet there are plenty of papers on that. So again, this is just something that we need to be proactive. We need to get on the pavement. We need to email. We need to call. We need to go to the Kratom Association. We need to, sign that petition. We need to call down to the pharmaceutical boards and talk to the people that are doing this because, again, I mean, this herb is fantastic. It's been used in Thailand and some of the Asian countries for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
So today's Tuesday. I mean, you've got 2 days till Thursday. It's going to take me a day to get this up online,
Oh my God, Sven, you need to get this out to everybody, like right now.
Everywhere. Like everybody should be talking to their doctor, to their pharmacist, to get down to their natural health stores. I see a lot of vape shops are selling it. You, of course, sell it online.
Yeah, we don't sell anything.
You don't sell anything?
Provide as a sacrament.
Okay.
You have to be a member of the church. Yep, everything that we have is a sacrament. We pray over it. And we use it in every herb. We respect its ability to help heal us. And we do go through a ceremony with everything that we use it. Well, you were there when I was making manufacturing, going through my prayer over my FNG.
Right.
That's a family secret of a, pain formula that we have. And so, we take this very seriously, but yeah, it's something that a lot of people come to us because we provide organic, wild harvested.
Let me just put in a quick word about the FNG. That is a liquid that is just amazing for what it does to scars, to any kind of lesions on the skin, to sore muscles, to sore joints, to clearing your sinuses. I've still got mold in the picture here at my house. Anywhere east of the Mississippi, you're not going to find hardly any building that doesn't have mold in it. Right. So how do you keep dealing with it? How do you still build that cell resilience and that cell energy? So this FNG is amazing stuff.
Well, you know what FNG stands for, right?
No.
Fungus. So it's fungus/pain. Dad originally came up with the formula, and we've updated it. Whenever new products come out, that would be a great adjunct for it. But Dad said originally came up with that because of his heavy metal burden. He would get a topical skin fungus on a regular basis. So he came up with this formula and it knocks it back real quick. It's real effective for the fungus as well as for the pain. So, yeah.
Well, this is, you guys provide really amazing services. The whole point of this podcast, in particular this episode and this whole playlist that we're going to develop, is to further the mission of helping Anyana Kai and helping other people find Anyana Kai, because there's really no place on earth, anywhere that I've been anyway, that it's anything like it. So there's a couple of things that you can do. There is a change.org petition. We'll have a link to it here in the information box on this YouTube video.
Yes, that's a good one. Even though that's really old, Sven.
It's really old stuff.
Yeah, that's literally in that search engine. You have to put in prosecutor Julia Bates, but that will give you, hundreds of testimonials of some of the results that people have been able to experience sharing Anyana Kai and the facility and its great services. And
I did find it, and I got the link for it, so we'll have it right here on our in the about box on this video. And the other thing you can do is share this video, or share the other videos that I did with Charmaine. Mold is a big problem.
Yeah.
And we have this tendency in America that once you've been afflicted by something, then that becomes the cause that you live your life by, and everybody expects you to be the big spokesperson for that. Well, let me tell you, I was doing holistic health publications for 25 years, and I got taken down by mold, and there's no way I ever wanted to be known as the mold guy.
No, the fun guy. I told you, the fun guy. You need to be the fun guy.
Yeah, I'll be the fun guy, but I don't want to be the mold guy.
Right.
So,
well, that's me too. But you know what? Speaking about that just briefly, is I know that's not the topic of this one, but we really need to do an update on our mold videos, because there's some new information that I'd like to be able to share with people that would make their lives easier as far as remediating goes.
Absolutely.
Especially with basements and crawl spaces, that can make people's life just a lot easier.
Well, we'll definitely get we'll get to that. I'm going to try to keep these videos nice and short, so
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We can keep them kind of bite-sized mentally, because it's I'm in pretty good shape. But the biggest wrestling I do is to wrestle to keep Charmaine on a topic while we're having a discussion. So, that's one of the things that's the most fun about working with you, Charmaine.
Yeah, because you always make me think of new ways and new ideas. You're a good interviewer. You keep me inspired. You keep me hopping.
Thanks. Well, you do a pretty good job of hopping all by yourself, but I'll take that as a compliment. So that'll do it for this edition. We're going to come on next. We'll have some different people who work there and who've been treated there at Anyana Kai. And so watch for more episodes coming very soon. I'm Sven Hosford on behalf of Charmaine. Thanks for being with us today, Charmaine.
Thanks. Please go to Kratom Association.
And that's KRATOM Association.
Sign the petition. Very important right now. Be proactive instead of reactive.
All right, let's take control of our health out there, people. Have a great day. Thanks.